Okay. Let's see. Let's see if I'm gonna. Should I blast it to Jen? Should she hop in? All right. Invited Jen to join. Accepted. She should pop up momentarily. This is working like a charm for me lately, Jen.
Hi.
How are you doing this morning?
Good. How are you?
I'm doing great. I'm doing great. Let's see. We'll wait a couple days because people love hearing us talk about the hottest and the most controversial topics in the affiliate. We already have at least 10 owners watching, 11, 12, 13. Let's
Right?
fucking go.
Yeah.
Um,
And if you have topics you want us to talk about, let's go. Let's hear
we
them.
do. Okay,
Yep.
this is I didn't notice on Instagram Live you can only do like certain length of a title, but this is specialty classes or any non-CrossFit class.
Okay.
Pros versus cons. And like we didn't discuss this morning if you're pro or con or whatever. So like we may even disagree. Hardly happens so me and you hardly happens, but we'll see. So this is a topic on I'm an affiliate owner and I'm going to run boot camp class like CrossFit Light or an Oli class or a master's class or a kids class. Let's put that in there. Any other classes I'm missing? Women's only class, strongman class.
Yeah.
Cool. All right. What are your initial first thoughts as an owner? As an owner.
Um, it's complicated. Like
Sure.
it can get complicated. Just kind of thinking like I want to appeal to like our kids, right? So I feel like that's a definitely different demographic. And I've seen success on the other end of the spectrum with like our masters groups. I do feel that scaling for kids is a little bit different than scaling for masters. So the masters is not quite necessarily needed, but like don't overcomplicate CrossFit.
Yep.
Like have a class, be familiar with your scaling, things like that.
My first thoughts are always like I've bounced back and forth plenty of times with this one, but my first thoughts are if you're trying to do that, then the public brand of your affiliate is saying something else, right? If I need like and I fell victim to this. I've had a boot camp class before, so we can go. I'm sure maybe you've tried it.
Yep.
The original thing I always thought was like, all right, if I do a boot camp class, if I say the word boot camp, people will come who normally wouldn't come, and then that will be cool, right? And I remember when I did the boot camp, I did get a ton of people, and then I was like, well, this is dumb. And then I ended it out of nowhere. I was like, all right, you 20 people, you've been doing CrossFit the whole time, just to let you know, and you're going to go into our normal classes. And I lost zero, maybe one. I don't know, just because maybe that time that the boot camp was worked out from. But I know if you're feeling the need as an owner to go and get extra classes or things like that, there's probably something broken earlier, but it doesn't mean it's not worthy or
Right.
like you just said, right?
Yep. Yeah. No, I agree. I think I feel like lots of times I feel like owners are reaching for something, so they'll add that boot camp class where if you just had people come in your gym, you could do a very good job on mount scaling and making them feel comfortable in a CrossFit class, and that's from any age or any range.
Yeah.
The only reason why I think that kids should be on their own because kids are kids, and
Yep.
that's a whole different. That's definitely a different group. With that, but I feel like if you want to do something such as like an ollie class or like a specialty lifting type class, that maybe you can run that as like a seminar or
Yes.
a 3 week series or something. It's not a need for you to take away from like what we are,
Yep.
what we hold true is CrossFit.
It's what
um
Josh just said.
yeah,
Did you see Josh's comment? He said just
yeah,
do CrossFit unapologetically, accessories to support it.
yes,
And that I couldn't agree more. Like what you just said, we have had gymnastics seminars, or we have had 8 week, twice a week Olympic lifting classes at the most random times on planet Earth that people had to sign up for additionally. So
yeah,
it's a cost. And then like I know the last Olympic lifting one we did, our coach made $1,100, you know.
Yeah.
I think the grand total is like, I don't know, 1,500. So that went to, you know, the 300 went to the gym, and then yeah, she made $1,100 on her own. You know, if you're going to take any like business course advice, they would say that I completely should have charged her more, but I could care less. If I'm trying to make my money on my specialty classes, then my product's broken,
Yep.
right? And
Yeah.
then you can never do anything either. Like that's, you can literally just do CrossFit. And then when people are like, okay, so here's a scenario. Hey, I heard that CrossFit's like dangerous. Or I saw it on the TV and it's like super aggressive. I think I need something like lighter or whatever. Like what's your response? Like, or they're like, do you have a different class? I'm not gonna lie. Do I lie? I might be lying. I might lie to people. I might say, oh yeah, yeah, we have if you just come in, be fine. Like
Right.
I don't know. I don't even, it's not like I don't acknowledge their comment. I just selectively ignore it to hear it. Is that, what do you
So,
do?
so I kind of direct them towards a class that's smaller, because like even though we do the same thing at 3:30 that we do at 6:30, 6:30 is
Mm,
smaller, less intimidating, and so I just like, why don't you come try 6:30? There's smaller people, like you can kind of, do your own thing, which you can do that in every class, but it kind of gets that like shift away from doing something different. Like we still do
mm,
CrossFit and stuff, and so I think definitely doing that, but also like tell them how knowledgeable our coaches are with scaling and how we give options all day long within our workouts, our programming. Our coaches are like very good with scaling and adaptive, and we're constantly learning. And so like if there's something they're fearful of, let's talk about it. And then the day they come in, they're not going to run, they're going to row, and they're going to be confident in knowing that decision.
yeah,
Yep.
yeah. And also, if you change programmings for your specialty class, this is one thing that I did notice. Um, I had I had the ability to so we did the boot camp thingy, and I allowed my members to come to it. So like you could come, it was just an additional class, right? So it was 45 minutes. And then what I started to find was like the boot camp classes were freaking packed from my existing members. And I'm like, okay, interesting. So I just kind of, I didn't even survey the people, but that's where we write our own programming. And I kind of realized, I'm like, okay, so maybe people aren't really liking what we're doing that much and they like this.
Yeah.
How can I give them a little bit of both, right? Because I just don't want to do, you know, kettlebell swings, rowing, and burpees for every single workout in the world. I got to figure out how to get a heavy stimulus somewhere. I got to figure out how to get, you know, some more advanced gymnastics. But how can I, if this is what they like I'm going to listen to my clients to a, like, you know, enough. I'm going to listen to them enough, but not fully let them run the asylum. So we then changed our program after that because
Yeah.
we're like, all right, well, people want to do these. And that just worked for us. It doesn't mean it's going to work for anyone else. But yeah, just so we both agree.
Yeah, I was saying we had a coach that wanted to do a boot camp class on Friday, 9 a.m. And Fridays are open gym for all of our class times. So we were like, yeah, let's do it. Give you an opportunity to bring more people into the gym and stuff. And we looked at our programming, and it all was CrossFit. Like, just lighter weights, scaling, lighter kettlebell swings and stuff. And so since Friday is open gym at 9 a.m., she still has that opportunity to like bring people in and program a workout, or we program a workout. And so, if they feel like they need it, they get that fix of,
Yeah.
most of the time boot camp just wants to like do cardio for, 3 hours. So if that's what they want to do on Fridays at open gym, they can. But definitely, like just giving them those options of scaling options, and I think education too. So educating your members on why you have a heavy day, or why you have a metabolic condition day, and things such as that. Education goes a long way, and I think we miss out on that at the whiteboard. And so
Hmm.
just educating people so they wouldn't go look for additional, like, why don't we have this class, or why don't we have that class, type thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. What do you say then to the okay, so we kind of talked to the elite fitness people. That's like the elite, that's like the people who don't want to try CrossFit because of the elite fitness. So it's like, oh, I have a lighter, or I have a boot camp. What do you say to people who don't want to do CrossFit because they like are afraid of the heavy weights, or they're afraid to get hurt, which we know both of those are untrue. We
Right.
actually know, like, yeah, how do you respond to them? Because they don't get a specialty class of anything, but I see how people will make like a boot camp version just to send them, those type of people, to that as well.
Yeah. So I look at like right now, Cat has at-home programming, and it
Mm-hmm.
aligns very similar with class programming. So if there's that one person that's like, I'm not interested in doing, Randy 75 power snatches, like here's your option. And so I'll like give them a dumbbell and just, make
Yeah,
them do like an AMRAP or like some
sure.
of that stuff, and add in like a couple of things in there just to like still keep the stimulus of Randy, but get them moving with dumbbells only.
Yep.
Because most people don't think that um, like a barbell and a dumbbell, they think definitely you're going to get bigger with a barbell, but not get bigger with a dumbbell, which doesn't make sense. But it's just like tricking people.
Yeah.
Like, give you two dumbbells and like do front squats with that. So
I know, it's like education. I always try to tell people, remember that, like, you know, sadly, so you could have a disease where all of a sudden your muscle's gone, or you could get into an accident, and working out changes for you. You could do all these things, like your knowledge, barring certain situations. Like when you work on this, it becomes a massive tool, and you can use it to educate these people and be very gentle.
yeah.
It's like, okay, well, I'm too scared to lift a barbell. Okay, tell me why you're scared. Well, I don't want to get bulky. I don't want to get hurt. I know I've seen some things on TV before, yada, yada. Okay. Okay, so what is your end result? Like, what do you want? Well, I want to be cut and lean and skinny, and I want to take photos, and I want to have friends. Okay, cool. Right? So this barbell, allows us to build lean body mass, right? And if you build lean body mass, it's going to burn more calories while you're sleeping. It's going to burn more calories while you're eating and talking. So like that muscle is almost like investing really, really early in your life in like the global stock market. And then you'll see it grow up and get benefits out of it. And like sometimes I'll sell people on something as simple as that. And sometimes they'll look at me and be like, what the hell is this guy talking about? Either way,
Yeah.
you don't owe it to anyone to have to do a class.
I think
Sorry.
not to like cut you off for
No,
that.
go ahead.
So one angle that I use, and like it's not like I'm not abusing it, right? But like women with barbells. So like all growing up through high school, like women weren't allowed in the weight rooms. Like we didn't go in the weight rooms. It's just kind of like, oh, just do a couple things. Even in sports, right?
Yep.
We would get the weight room for like 30 minutes, and the guys would have all the guys sports would have it all the time. So I use it as like a conversation piece for empowering and giving confidence, and just like with that, I kind of talk about like, what does confidence look like to you? What do you want to be able to do? Like, what do you want to be able to pick up? What do you want to show your husband or your child that you can do? And so like using it from that angle to talk about confidence, and empowering them to be able to do what they want to do. And it's definitely like helped a lot.
I had a somewhat fun, controversial, not even controversial post a couple years ago on my personal Instagram of like, CrossFit has saved women's sports. And I gave all these facts on why the equal pay, the viewing, it's essentially like 50-50. I mean, there's not like, if you know the sport of CrossFit, everyone knows the males and females, and none is like, nobody leaves when the females are out there. They're getting the same prize pool money. And also with the UFC, I mean, it has been such a viewed sport because people are like, whoa, that is absolutely insane. So like I couldn't agree more. Minus, I don't think 115.75 should ever be used inside of a gym. I don't think that's a fair scale. I always get pissed when I see that come up. Should be 115.85. I do want to touch on the elderly class, the old folks class,
Right.
the masters class, the legends class. I took the master's course when it was a 2-day course with Chuck Carswell. It was one of the first ones ever in Atlanta, and it was amazing, and I learned so much. And in there, they don't say you have to do a class. They give you options on how, but like, I know for my population, I have that like older population who still wear like cool shoes and cool socks, and like they don't want to be treated any differently. And
Yeah.
that's just my vibe for my gym. No judgment either way, but like, I definitely don't want to put the masters by themselves. It's like they've done enough for us. Um, but I do see if you had an extreme senior citizens, like you were trying to use the, is it still called, is in the APN, is it still called concierge? They might have just changed their name,
Yeah, I think
Optum, but
Optum.
whatever.
Yeah.
Essentially, the thing that can get you insurance money for United Healthcares that are Medicare, so 65 and up, right? They will pay you $50 through United Healthcare for 4 times per month. So you'll get $50, 15 times $15 per session for 4 sessions.
Yep.
And that is through their insurance. So they're paying nothing and you're getting $50. Like if you were to just try to get 100 of them, like that one gym you have in Florida with all the retirements.
Yeah.
Like I could see that. But otherwise, if you're just like, you know, a 58, 59-year-old coming in, like maybe they exercise way back in the day or something. I don't personally see the need for a specialty class for them, but I'm sure there's people watching that have Legends Masters classes that crush it. So I would love to hear in the comments if they do. But
yeah, there's definitely a few affiliates that have have that class. So a couple affiliates have Bone Fit, and they
Bone
kind of
Fit,
yeah,
Bone Fit,
yeah,
like to
Bone
build more
Fit,
bone
yeah,
strength.
Bone
I like it.
strength in their older, and it's like those classes pick up, and like it's kind of like we talked last time, right? So like if you have a class that doesn't get like regularly attended, right, like what do you do with that? So these classes are specific for them and they fill it up. It's probably, you know, one of their biggest classes, but I think they like market to that. They still do programming and things like that, and so I don't like, I'm kind of borderline, right? So things like that I think are very good, but like to do specific like master's programming for your 55-year-old that's like kicking butt in all the regular workouts, like I
Right.
think they can still kind of join our group. And like you said, I have some older people that attend my 9 a.m. class, and they number one want to be there with everyone else. They don't want to be singled out. And then two, like if it was just 2 to 3 of them in a class, like they want to get to experience the community of every age group that can come to a class.
Yeah. And looking at your goals, I had a great state-only webinar with Wisconsin. Also rhymes with mansion. Do you know that was recent? That T-Pain. It was like on this day the other day. That was like, I think Albert Einstein did something with the law of like relativity or gravity. I don't freaking know. And then they put also like on this day as well. T-Pain rhymed mansion with Wisconsin, which is great. You know, so we talked about having goals, and I think that if you're reaching for specialty classes, it's because maybe you forgot your core goals and mission, and maybe you're like, all right, I don't know, I know that I need to get hundreds of people. If I get hundreds of people, like I'll be able to pay myself, or yada yada yada. Like, and I'm always at the point where like, stop reaching for more and more people. Just make what you have better and better and better, and charge what you should be on that. Like,
Yeah.
I hear full disclosure, in September's the goal, and this is for new members only because I just had a huge price increase. But I am completely changing, and I'm upping my rates to exactly what I want them to be. And if I only get 50 people for the rest of the day, and I keep my current people happy, the business will have no issues. I'll continue to run how it is, and because I don't want to have anything else. I don't want to have to pump people in the door with specialty, or come. I swear, just come to me. We'll do an endurance one. We'll do Olympic lift. You're like, what do you want? Tell me. I'll give it to you. Just, it's a salt shaker reference, right? Have I ever done the Bosman salt shaker thing with you?
No, but Lisa Ray, I heard Lisa Ray.
Yeah. That was an old CrossFit HQ, and I originally heard it from Adrian Bosman.
That's so good.
So wherever he was at, yeah. But like, it's your salt shaker, and it sits right here on this table. And if somebody walks into your house and they're like, hey, you know, like, cool spot for your salt shaker, like, but you know, what if it was over there? Because the pepper's there, and typically when you have salt, you do pepper too, and all of a sudden you're like, man, that SOB's right. I wonder if I should move my salt shaker over there. And then you start to like, whoa, wait a minute.
Yeah.
It's like,
Next
no,
thing you know, it's like in another room. Like you
Yeah.
can't find it, you know?
I have never had issues with that, but you just, I get distracted. Now I can understand owners maybe getting distracted of like, ooh, like what's coming out? What's new? Oh, I heard there's I talked to an owner the other day, and he's a super cool guy. And he's like, you know, I try everything, anything that opens up, F45, Orange Theory, whatever in my area, I go do it. I go do a drop and I go do a week. And he's like, a lot of gym owners think I'm weird for doing that. He's like, no, I just want to see what's up. And he started naming all these other things. He's in a bigger city. And he was like, there's red zone, red something. And I'm like, dude, I've never even heard of that.
Yeah.
And he's like, imagine this. It's Orange Theory, but with red lights. And I'm like, damn. I'm like, that's creative. It was funny. He's just cracking me up. But like, yeah, don't get distracted and throw in a specialty class.
Yeah.
I'm saying there.
Yeah. And I think there's a point, right? So like once you've kind of like perfected what your model looks like on basic CrossFit, if you have room to kind of bring in things, but I still feel like having a series or a seminar or like a 3 to 5 week course to enhance what
Yes.
you already do in class.
Yep.
With that, I think that's where, you know, I think people get too, like you said, off on the shiny thing and like, what, my business is struggling, but I can add this and I can add this and I can add that. Whereas I feel like just stick to the basics.
Yeah.
Or like if you need, find a mentor, right? So like
Mm-hmm.
an affiliate that's super smart, knows it, makes it happen, a mentor program type thing.
Yeah. Yeah. We have a mentor program. We have other mentors too, like if you look through the affiliate partner network and you see, you know, Best Hour, and Jen and I have experience with them. If you want to talk to us about CrossFit's mentor program, contact us. We have experience with them. If you just want to have a meeting, I guarantee most of the people watching have at least talked to us once or twice. Like, we are owners. We have the same brain you do. There's no like special, like our gym gets random clicks because we have this job. That is certainly untrue. I coached a class the other day and it was so bad. It wasn't bad. It just wasn't good. Like, if I think of the 300 seminars I've probably done, probably somewhere 250. I can't lie. It's probably not 300, probably like 250. I'm like, well, I wonder how many of the L2 people would watch that and be like, Andrew, that was not what you showed me. And it's like, no, not every day is exactly the same. But in my head, I was like, I'm so glad my community just loves the gym.
I know.
Right. Like, it was
Yeah.
just all, you know, it was like 15 people. They've all been there for 5 years. They just want to chat and like, they already know exactly what's on the app, exactly what we're doing. You know, I'm just like, oh my gosh, can I do anything for you guys? They're like, just play really good music and shut the F up. And I'm like, all right, fine.
Right. Or when they're waiting at the whiteboard for you because you're talking too much. So
Yeah. Well, typically, I know typically for me, the whiteboard, it's like wrangling everyone in. I might have a story or two, but and I assume they like it. Sometimes they do, sometimes they don't. But also, it's like they just want to start chatting with each other. I mean, I want to do the same thing. Like, do you take your classes or no?
I do. Yep.
What class do you typically take?
So like 3:30 or 4:30, in that range. So like I'll coach one and work out the other, or vice versa.
Nice.
Yep.
Nice.
Yep.
I'm 6 a.m. only. Well, this is good. I think we need to keep doing these. Like, when they pop up in our head, it's got to be something that brings value. I don't want to say controversial, but like, yeah, that is. I see a lot of gyms. I know you do. They have 19 different classes in the day. Oh, last thing, the burnout. It kind of goes back with our last Instagram Live. The more classes you have, the more burnout you're going to get. And do not get it twisted. If you have 60 members and you have 9 classes a day, you will be exhausted. That's just simple math. You'll have no time to work on the business. You'll be completely in the business. And then when you show up to a class and 2 or 3 people are there, you more than likely are losing a little bit of money out of that class, where if you condense, you'd have more bandwidth, you'd have more time. And also, what I found is nobody's excited to go to a class that's 3 people. I know that it just is like, eh.
No.
So.
And to kind of just add to that one point, so normally it's the owner that has the great idea, or an aspirational coach of like, hey, let's do a Special Olympic, like an Olympic lifting class. And then like they get sick, that coach still needs to be, that class still needs to be coached. So literally probably the only one to lead it would be the owner. And whereas like if you just did CrossFit across the board, you have your whole staff that can like fill in and stuff. And so that's why I stepped away from holding a kids class. Like, it happened about the time of COVID as well, but I don't want to be that person that coaches a kids class on top of everything else. It's unfortunate for our kids, but I have some coaches that want to do it, and I'm like, listen, you're going to have to figure out a plan. If cancellation, I'm not your backup type thing.
Yeah.
From that.
But that
But I
goes with
think,
what you said. If you do it for a time, that's still way better.
yeah,
Of like Jen just did a 6 week Monday only, kids program, and we had to leave, or it was for the East semifinals. So like, yeah, she had one person fill in, but that was 6 total
yeah,
classes. Like, it has a starting point,
yeah,
it has an ending point. People pay up front. If they show up to 0, there is no refunds. If they only make 3, like, we're not doing deals. No, I don't think we made $1 off of that class. Or it doesn't. That's not. It wasn't its purpose. It truly just was a. Um, that honestly to me is like, and I know I always talk business, and it's like that's. I bet people think maybe I'm a capitalistic pig, which is fine. Capitalism is the reason that businesses all of a sudden do better. Like I want you to do better, but for kids, if you're trying to just make your money off of kids, then you need to charge 3 to 4 times more than you charge your adults because they are that harder. I
yes,
remember hearing some people say that before. Ethics wise, sure, we should all do it for free. But if you want to donate your time, then do that. Be very generous, and that was a generous thing we did. It had nothing to do with making money. Like, look at, if you want to follow, I mean, I can't say the world's best kids program, but it is definitely one of the best. It's Core City Fitness and inner city Detroit. She has an after school program, and the whole state's behind her. Everyone is behind her. She's nationally known, and she makes absolutely nothing off of that. Is all comes from her teaching heart, and that is generosity unbelievable. She should be getting paid. I would, if I could vote where my tax dollars go, I'd be like, give it to Helen. You know what I mean? Like,
right, yeah,
give it to her.
yeah, yeah,
I'd be very happy with that. But
yeah.
yeah,
Well, and I think, me and you both, like you said, we own affiliates. And the cool thing about like CrossFit is that we're all autonomous. So we can like do everything that we want to do. It's our business. We own it. We just, basically, this is just a share, like share our feedback, share successes, share from like the stories that we talk to affiliate owners who, aren't having such a good time doing it or are burnout. And you look at like the little things that add up, like
yep,
adding this class of 2 people every week builds
yeah.
up.
Oh, I heard your dogs. That's our cue. That's our cue. All right. Well, we will maybe next week. Let's I'll try to tag you, and so we can keep this live on our page.
Yeah, for sure. And I'll repost it share it on YouTube as
Oh,
well. So
you made a YouTube?
yeah,
Congratulations.
YouTube.
Yeah, I'll do that too. Let me
Yes.
know how you save it though, because that'll be good. Yeah, we need to start these as a series.
Yes.
All right.
Yeah.
Talk to you
Okay.
soon.
All right. Bye.
Bye.
Thank